American Idol, you asked for a kiss, but this evening, between hello and goodbye, I have my say, and you tell me what might have been being there as a friend. I'm the last person standing around asking how desperate hours made good by letting your bodyguard down, making him leave while you look at my see-through dress on skin. We see the stars as city lights dwindling with firefly light, and during the moon's opening night, you sing for the love of Mike, dubbing a rock idol that the world never forgets. Cameras click up and down, sideways and sideways, every move zooming lens, and the crowd cries out as your tattooed tear runs with fleshy mascara skin. I owe someone a great deal, a favor for letting me in. Wages of sin, where you gyrate those hips. As for me, taunts came and vegetable bin set on my table, thrown tomatoes since I remember my rotten luck. I tear up in stage fright after breaking a leg caused by a pulley of sandbags falling my way. I see stars as I speak, rambling to them, I'm okay, and you're a rising star when I never got off the ground. The end. This poem is about bad kids, and it's called Stars North of Alaska. For being late, brother tirelessly changed a good wrenching story that one bad turn of lug nut deserves another look after confronting, hey dude, your wheels are rolling off. Sitting pretty turned pretty ugly with slow mo. Are you done yet? Will you shut up? Jeez. And a polo parka bears young, harnessing energy of inner child for crying out loud, with whale couching fear and blubbery lips when I ignore the little snot while chewing the fat, getting off on the cell phoning gentleman caller 976 not. And a four-wheel drive's Red Riding Hood lurches back and forth with back talk, a four-letter word. I didn't hear that. And Slemmy snatches a burning conversation between me and mother. Simon says, I bleed for you, sis, mocking PMS. And suggestively aping, I hear no evil, as headphones of punk brother jerks off ruptured virginal eardrum, where unbelievable disciples rule. And the winter break is almost over, and the numbskull is not learning much at the school of hard knocks. Hung up on love, he fell for co-eds the hard way, saying he's tripping while looking down at him with head slammed from bungee jumping bunk bed, snagging ankle, deep sheet of pissy drawers. Ah, he was smashed on the floor. And father's ultimatum finally endorsed last name of son, Incorporated, and company of females chucking trash full of his boy's snail mail resume. Now he's not the only dick on the floor during lunch hour. And the commercial broke anticlimactic mood paused for eternity, tuning out how you doing to grandma's and grandpa's perversion of life. They're just about fired up by now, eyeballing TLC caregivers while faking the taking on water and rippling tongue thrusts of nitroglycerin. And throat's dry and they're horsing around again, puckering up gin tonics. Catching my eye, the old biddy clutches bigger than life. Bifocals. Oh, she has spotted me, so I take the fifth when acting as referee between these soap operas, husband and wife. At least their story keeps them in a family way when they are farting around in a non gas way. It breathes life into their DNR marriage. And cabin fever sets in, and ancestral death of being snowed in with cold feeling threatens him, especially if we don't visit more often. The end. And this one is about a lady who's well to do, and it's called In a Heartbeat. Burnt clouds of smoke moves, hot grease along walls, to ceiling, running toward an open window where polluted sky draws its first breath this morning. The sink is wrecked with dishes screaming, "Wash me." And I'm easy but not a pushover when it comes to keeping house, money wise or otherwise, with an overpaid, mousy maid. Getting a good day to you, ma'am, somehow reminded me of grown up poor, or super with whiny brats peek out the door. Well, I'll be. Well, I'll be. You sure are looking mighty fine these days. It heard some more. My bag is checked out, along with well-heeled leg, stepping inside the sidecar door, and the concierge is up and running that red edge carpet floor. After adjusting vanity mirror on a week in this side of the street, is full of a valet ushering in hotties in cool wheels, tailgating front in a building in 10-minute waits where traffic jams crowd vanity plates. Before sunny weather, snowy weather comes to fast lane, where shopping binge make me, us divas proud. On the other side of the street, as cars crew cut snow job on its roof, sliding forward as the chauffeur breaks for love, opening this day of all days with some hand-picked bloody roses for me. Sometimes at night, I can hear your billboard sizzle, sounding like a swarm of electric bees, getting air until a cold snap breaks the neon fizzle. And not every girl can wake up to 100 faces that are hurt for her eyes only. And in a heartbeat, I love you, but my amorous mood is broken by popping corn, making a break for the pop lid. The end. This one is called Family Tree. Doves cry echo being free, free, free. And yes, I got my eye on the sparrow with pigeonholed up in shrubbery. I find life liberating with a silent running shoe passing our old tree house for the birds, 6 feet in the air, swinging and kicking everywhere. Bandages are stuck on me after falling for that tree, blossoming world peace. And a robin burns bright orange. How dare it sing, with head in the clouds, shadowing evening? So I cry a river from a waterfall of tears when a churchyard silence gather voice, where spells of rising yells follow people tending death. I'm caught up in life with a loud shuffling shoes, passing my old tree house for the birds, 6 feet under, still as can be, carrying blackness where crows calling for me. The end. This poem is about death, and it's called Wake. Death becomes him, our old man's way of life, dressing corpses, making them look better dead than alive in a homemade morgue. We talk by bulbs bright that scream for light, darkening to our delight. And the roof of the world is leaking, and the rain can't stop falling, caught up in boot pots and pans, banged by me, a chow. And looking back with years, air wasn't full of fear too large to bear. And the growls of thunder put lions under my bed, and lightning flashed his nasty eyes, closing mine till they sunk in my head. And the baby oil spill rubs baby duck the wrong way, blackening squeak to a shriek. And the big brother and I grew apart, one at home with worn out welcome, finally being a long goodbye. We were hooked on horror, carrying a torch for torture rooms, and the virgins lay on bed of screws while others got nailed. And the SWAT teams are not onto us yet, so I don't want to grow up blown up and bombs away, tear gas or grenades thrown my way. So I submerge in his sleep, dive, setting sights high above the dungeon's moon that grate on my nerves. The end. This one is about uh, the war in 1945. 1945, I remember. It's nice move from the old folks' home to the new. Punching pillow made all night feathers fly in the sky, where fallout of rain from her leaky roof made Auntie Lorraine tired today. So she gave me a list to window shop for her glass thrown vases, and a metronome text to shut jewelry box mumbling song, and a silverware is silver worn to tattered tabletop as these come back from the antique shop like a musty, dusty, unwelcome mat. She is thinking of the past when her snow frosted cake walk soldiers' cold feet as the ice blaze salutes fear to striking wedding bells near. In a twinkling eye, the Stardust Ballroom roused jukebox live, jive, in a tunneled underground hi-fi, and the kamikaze hits make black waves with Tokyo Rose, who's raring to go when sun's ashes pale heats and thinned out city. So color me red when the world turntable has a scratched, deep grooved, groovy record playing 45's year. Two hearts beating with Pearl Harbor hatred. Kiss me, mother's wait, soon to be, some say, for delivery in a rush job of eternity. And the imprisoned faces are pretty, are pasty in overseas pin-up postcards stamped with hard to get rules. And a girl talk moves fast about the lined up pin hosiery fitting wedged open two-toe shoe. And a window shone sheer and volume of pent-up anger, drafting fought hard when, as uniform wore on hanger, sporting for colored clothes. Box lunches with government tins is fine eating, where mixed up meal is a rationing hash, and there is no bananas to speak of. Keeps pace with rosy riveter, greasy face. A working man's arm and hammer will never be the same. Today, the tractor works by the yard with cement blocking view of shoddy material by the feet as a graphic junk like gutted grain. And the developers show true colors, knowing what walls will do for a touch of paint. Sigh of relief come when used stores fall away with mall strips of people. And I give a quick hello goodbye when moving out of this old house where I got in good with the neighborhood's old glory. The end. Now, this poem is about nature, and it's one of my early poems. The bluebonnet sail traveling wagons trail, and the woodpile trees appear in slow spring, where creak, wheel, squeak, mired in boot deep, trampling bulrushes underneath bulrushes, and a draft pause in woe, deeply drinking air lightning, where draft brightening A thunderous height of gloom pushes on. When I reach for the stars, my dress is pulled off, torn asunder in 100 mirrored ways, and I forget the dipping coolness as the waves reflect on me, wondering how I drown darkness of a half-naked moon. And the night is pulled back, exposing zippered smile from a doll's raggedy little one, growing like a tumbling weed in a hollyhock smock of glee. I'm hooked on wilderness gone wild, and I tirelessly yawn all day, watching the fish despair, gasping air as the sky drips, arrayed in rain splendor, battling rainbow hinder as the way of seasons stir, and the sun-bathed rays melt branched ice tipping of grass, bowed, bowed over at last, and a red berry the berry, going up with a quickening spread, freezing moments till earth stood still, hiding from its big chill. And the wings of snow soften the blow of hard-hitting wind, slapping the face of men. But blueberry tongue of apple face young, remember, limbering up scrawny boon of fruit of the lips, that root for stellar of harvest moon. And the trunks become overly dressed, tree spread leaves, with tucked in everlasting eternal bloom in the way of seasons. The end. Now this one is about a carnival, and it's called Freak Show. I traveled a mile, crossing our street, oozing heat, and a hooped earring leap across shoulder of a one-faced woman, not much more than a side girl for a stab of pain when turning heads. She has coin-tossed curl for hair, so gypsy men stare as the blindfold kiss knives are thrown so near. And behind a stage door, a showering of wedge roses echo, mulster and pink, for the fat lady whose hate and eye moves by mirror. And the curtains rise for them, feet jump blues, toes hang ten, barely touching, tapping wood. Everything is a circus when we clown around organ pipes, her voice dizzying crowd. And the popcorn crowd cheered the part we all play. And the baton twirl, drumming up marching band to a beat I only understand, with good vibrations giving off vibes. And the sweetening old age, your legs are decaying and bent, having felt red bow of happiness. And his thin lip goodbye is stale, older than tomorrow, especially for me when walking tall in stilted ways. A slender, road ridden street walker singing the freaks come out at night. The end. Okay, this is um, a southern poem from the past. It's called If a Child Asked. As a friend, I stood by him during sunset to star rise, and the day moved in whiteness, blinding the sight of them, those hunters of men. He got his second youth, found yet lost, acting black as minstrel man's Jim Crow. It took years to find him, and to the mind of man, he moved more slowly from house to house, stepping and fetching. Yes, sir, boss. I went on the run. Out to the pasture I go, free at last, not waiting a cotton picking minute any more. And my fuzzy curl is sheep shorn when I'm a lamb of God, and the body's shackled that but the mind is free. I put one foot forward, stepping from the past as I work at home instead of the office, showing more mothers taken to task, feeding the aging and homeless, skipping meals that have real stories to reveal. That's all she wrote, with old folks becoming a must read, never ending life story of untold tales that compromise dignity when sharecropping is one step down from slavery. The end. This is a poem about the homeless. It's called Our Sins. 7 days of Sunday stay within iron-crap gates, and a squirrel its branch learnt. Tassel twitch runs along crawl space wind, where acorn fall to us. Can bonfire thicker flame as the long-handled rakes push up leaf near churchyard silence, and a bum belches out loud from a drained face, a wishful thinking of drinking. Our flushed face mad at something turn on a smile at the reverie, and the graveyard wonder is filled with awe for the 100 years dead. Confessions pour in. A bouncer, manhandling Skid Row, marked panhandling, barely touching the untouchable, reeking filth. And a late summer bath is seen in fountain of hydrants for those in the gutter. The poorly dressed for dinner have no belongings. They have no family or friend, but their heart belongs to God in an ungodly hour when temptation to steal is the strongest. Some work it off, mopping water-down floors where window beams halo for the pew. The forgiven are given hope, rising from pits of stomachs, hungry for food of the gods. A sermon indeed. The end. This poem is about a coal miner's daughter, and it's called Loretta. Our forefathers breathed air extremes of hot to cold, tunneling shafts where deep down there were very little drafts, just stifling moments to come. And the chimney blows black dust into rooms, and I don't care if we got smoker's cough or miner's lung. And the doctor told me not to dwell on such things while I collected cow dung. And the gas canary gave his last breath, better it than us, they say. As a child, I wondered why we had so many at home, those pet canaries. Mine strips land of its guts for coal, a hard-pressed diamond in the rough. And a barbecue inside of beef is a go, when a tub and a brush for the dank and dirty, clean charcoal face to feet to faces, prettying them up for the hole in the wall pub that keeps every cent they have near grub. No girls allowed in this old boys club. And growing up down here, they snickered and sneer until the coming of age. The taller they get, then everything's fascinating as we appear. Despite grandma's chiding, smiling expands, and we trade sour lemonade stands for kissing booths that grin sweet tooths. And a made in Kentucky exports out to America when shoe factory and textile mill pay youngins pennies on the dollar. They holler about it, but take it anyway. They we sews with tiny awe in awe of giant leather punchers, while threads string along multiple spools until hands become Job's bleed and blister. Quilting bees make hands sting as we kiss them with cloth, all squared away for another sunny day. And black is worn much. You wouldn't know if fashion is dead or alive from attending funerals from those coal mines. And a doily embroidery lace collar and sleeve where needles point to the littlest things in a dress flaw, but we stall, fixing them ends and pieces and all. I stuck it in because corset stays just won't stay on this day. Things got out of hand. A bucking bookbird horse with no remorse turns tail and runs like hell when I was daydreaming and gave a good stare. Our hands are together because house and field hand pray for a better day. The end. This poem is about people who have eating problems. It's just a comedy on it. And it's called Fat Farm. Dingy clouds needs a washing, sunbathe with me. Rain clouds my sky, pours on gates of iron butterfly, where I caught a thief on a food rampage, trapped by lures of Ma's diner and all you can eat at Joe's. On a street named Desire lived the biggest losers, and time stopped, never getting around the clock as we traveled in a mobile home park where signs post, "Do not feed the people." They were always getting into trailer trash with beer topping their list, so they will survive. Some begged when I headed for a fall, bagged grocery, rolled out dented cans of botulism, hitting the street after car backed out, slamming that's the brakes. I looked up between feet as I laid there, facing the crowd, but lonely as snarl for food became cry of hunger, their stomachs growling louder. And a pedestrian got in line, strolling past and gawking at me as another statistic for talk of town because I was rare and walking more dead than alive in skin and bone. I did not belong here, where everyone likes you best by the size of your gut, making you fat. Getting some exercise, I'm one of the fall guys of autumn who rake door to door leaf, having squirrel over land with hordes of hoarding nut going on. Yep, they're hungry for food, but also starved for attention like us. Then, and my last poem is called Cindy Ella, and it's a spin on Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty in the 1920s. Cindy Ella, charwoman we are, but it pays the bills. I sit among the ashes, looking at beauty sleeping it off. Girls are in their roaring 20s, a time of flapper dancing, the Charleston. We put a best foot forward from a yellow checker cab, and little old buckwheat boots are put aside from this coach, our roadster. And lapsed luxury favors silk stockings, while stolen stoles of fur wrap porcelain poorly necks. And a straw Panama banana hat are tipped to us, rich dolls, riding in Model T Fords that always have the right of way with cars waiting for us to pass or get gas, the Ethel. Guys take gals to eat in the hat, the Brown Derby, or a place called Popeyes fits the bill. And a skinny woman, Olive serves them up, hamburger and fries, to strong men whose medicine ball stretches and bends high. And after the dance, we go to the silver screen, then do some serious drinking. Theaters pack them in. Movies of cowboys and Indians are for are real for us Western girls. In the silent stills of Chaplin cause riotous laughing, where the kid Nickelodeon plugs a nickel deal. And little boys are hushed, and toy Tommy guns are left outside to avoid a massacre with the Keystone cops who diligently watch their watch. They protect snitches ratting out like stool pigeons that sang before sing. It was a bus, as the lawyer spoke easy in the speakeasy for them. And the clock strikes 12, and I'm ripped, and my slipper torn. And clang clang goes the trolley, running its track, with seated people going downtown to studios and others shop underbelly of Hollywood Hills. Walk of Fame came downstairs, is done, with stars out tonight, behind the alleyways to escape the mob and me. They all party like Great Gatsby and the elegance and style in the last night of 1899. Jumping out 1929 window and heading for a crash took the steam out of things. No jobs cause riotous yelling and breadlines that reach its heyday overnight when a dust bowl outside my dishes make my dishes dirt clean, burying everything, crops, people, and dreams. And I live sadly ever after, no matter how charming the men. The end.